And I'm just going to do a sound check just to see whether the two gentlemen at the top can hear me. Apologies for the technical glitches. However, we are trying our best to get the conference started. So, Matthew Pierce, if you can hear me, your first question to Sia, please, in starting the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Rayon. Gentlemen, can you hear me? I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, Matthew.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Better. Okay, thank you. So, Sia.
Can you hear us, Matt?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Sia, back to the first question. It's 20 months to the day, 2nd of November to 2nd of July, that you get to play as world champions for the first time. There's been a lot of comment about the difficulty of existing in bio bubble and all the challenges that come with that. But from a player's perspective, how exciting, how special is it for you to be playing Test rugby again after a break of this length?
No, it's huge. It's huge for us, Matt. We've been talking to each other since last year, over WhatsApps and video calls, and thinking that we were going to have an opportunity last year to play. But obviously, with everything that's happened, we've had to come together now and just seeing each other. I mean, getting here on Sunday and seeing one another, the excitement, but obviously with COVID, we've had to be apart. But every single team has had to adapt to what's been happening with COVID, and I think we've done the best we can. Our coaching and our coaches and management have done the best, and the medical team to make sure that we are all fine and able to play this weekend. So we're very excited, but like you said, we've all been adapting well. Even with what's happening right now, we all have to adapt to new ways of doing things now.
Some new caps, both in this match 23 and in your extended squad as well, Sia. But how important has it been for you as a leadership group as well to have 29 of those players who were involved in the World Cup win to really get back to work as quickly as possible and to bed down processes and team environment?
Yeah, it's been big. It's been awesome to have so many guys that have been part of the World Cup group. It's helped. I think the thing that helped us a lot, the most, is obviously the lineman camps. And every single guy has been part of the lineman camp, whether you were overseas or in South Africa playing anywhere, and we were able to spend that kind of time together. And we still got to see the game plan and what's been happening before we got to camp. And I think it's helped a lot of the guys that don't have caps yet. And us, obviously, being here, you get an extra head as a coach, as a player, because you know exactly what the game plan is, and the kicking game, all that kind of stuff, and spending time with one another. That's why we're all competing, but the most important thing is the Springbok, and we all come together to make sure that if I'm playing things that Marco knows exactly what he needs to do, and he helps me too to make sure that I'm prepared for the weekend. And when I'm not playing and he's playing, I'm going to have to do exactly the same thing as him. And I think it's really healthy competition amongst the players, knowing that at the end of the day that the Springboks are the number one. As long as this team succeeds, that's the most important thing.
And Sia, given what's on the horizon in the form of a British and Irish Lions series, which is so special to everyone involved, is there a danger, or is there not a danger of looking too far ahead and not giving these next two test matches against Georgia the respect that they deserve?
To be honest, like I said earlier, we want to play, and we've been waiting for, as you said, I think for a year and 5 months. That is what's in our head right now. We want to get on the field, we want to make sure we give it our best, we want to win. That's the number one thing, and make sure that the combinations are working, our systems are working, our plan is working. That's the most important thing for us right now. We can't even think that far ahead. We all know it's there, but we also got to prove ourselves within this game. That's cool. We can't look so far. We have to perform as players, as a team, and that's the most important thing right now.
Thank you, Sia. Thank you, Rayon. I'll have a question for Ms. Vandile a little later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was Matt Pierce of SuperSport. And once again, thank you for your patience, ladies and gents. And we'll move on swiftly now. And our next question goes to Leighton Koopman of Rapport. Good afternoon, Leighton.
Hi, thank you very much. Hi, Sia. Hi, Stocker. Just in terms of, I'm going to latch on to Ken's question. You haven't played rugby in over almost 2 years. What does your game plan look like now that Jacques is there? Seeing that you haven't had proper training for almost over 2 years, and how are you approaching Georgia and looking to build towards the Lions?
Yeah, so our game plan hasn't changed. There's a few tweaks here and there, but the same things, the same for physicality, our work rate, all the stuff that you don't need talent for, it's all hard work. So that's all in play, and that's how our team has been chosen. We're looking for warriors in the team, and yeah, so not much of that has changed, but obviously we want to make sure that we do everything we can within the system, and then also the system, when you do all of that stuff, we still want the coaches want players to able to express themselves, but we still got to focus on what to do. So not much has changed in that regard, and our excitement to play is huge. So we just want to get on the field. I mean, we've played for our clubs, but coming together as the Springboks, it was one of those things that that's why we play rugby. That's why we wake up every morning and we train as hard as we can for our unions and perform, so that we can get this opportunity. Now that we have it, it doesn't matter if it's 15 months, whatever. We're going to do our best to make sure everything comes together on the field on Friday, sorry.
Good, Sia. That's a good habit. So our next question, good afternoon, Mick Cleary.
Good afternoon, guys, from the UK. It's Mick Cleary here from the Telegraph. Sia, could I ask, just despite what you said to my esteemed colleague Matt Pearce earlier about thinking only of tomorrow night, and that's understandable, can I just ask how real the Lions series now feels, that the Lions are in South Africa, are in the country? How special a thought is that for you, for Springboks, and for rugby supporters? And are you confident that the series will go ahead as planned?
Yeah, of course. And that's how we've planned from the beginning, and nothing has changed for us. And it's exciting to know that they're here. So, but nothing had changed for us. We've always been on the mindset that everything is going ahead, and we're working hard. We take everything as it goes. Our coaches and management handle everything else off the field. Our focus is to make sure we come together as a group and we're prepared when the time comes for us to play.
And could I just follow up, Sia, asking about you and the Lions in terms of your memories of them, in terms of what you know of them? What the last series, I know, obviously, I'm old, but you're young, so you'd have been a very young boy then. How rich an experience is the prospect of a Lions tour to you, knowing what you've heard from others about a Lions tour?
Yeah, it's special. I remember watching it. I think I was still at school then. Yeah, I was watching it. Watching France play there, Morne play there, and and the couple of guys that played for the provinces. Dwayne played for Western Province then, and it's an amazing feeling. It's a great thing that some of the biggest legends will never have had that opportunity to play in that time. So that's why it's huge for all of us as players in South Africa. And I'm telling you, every single player in our country has worked hard to try and get the opportunity, because they might not get it again. Even the guys that are playing for the unions, they're super excited. This is the opportunity they've been looking for, and hopefully they want to put their hands up to try and make this Springbok team. And just listening to France, how special it was for him and Morne, and guys like John Smith, who they would speak to us on the side, it's huge, and we're looking forward to it, and we that's why we're working as hard as we can to be part of this, of the group that's going to face the Lions.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sia. Now, next question goes to Owen.
Hi guys, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Excellent. In the time since the World Cup, the coaching system has changed at the top, and now Jack is the head coach. I just wonder if you can tell me how different that is in the way that you organise and are coached and are selected.
Is that for me or Sia?
For either.
Okay. Once again, Jacques has been part of our system since 2018 when he came back with Rasi. And so players, they really do understand his voice. And Jacques was always vocal in our side as a defense coach. So I don't think there's going to be a lot that has changed in our system, more especially if you look at the working relationship between myself, Jacques, and Felix and Rasi, people that have been there. I think that the only new personnel in our coaching staff is the two forward coaches, which is Dion and Dan. And I have to be honest and say in the past couple of months, those gentlemen also have been doing a great job. So once again, congratulations to Jacques, so we are excited, and our job as assistant coaches is to make sure that we support him as best as possible, So once again, I think the players, they are used to his voice and they are used to his language, which is, I won't elaborate on his language. But once again, yeah, we're excited and looking forward to tomorrow also.
Who has the final word on selection? Is it Jacques or Rassie?
They are they've got a good working relationship. They are a good team as a head coach and a director, and they understand each other. So once again, they always put the team first. So when it comes to who's got a final say, both of them, they've got powers to select whoever they want to select in the team. And I have to mention also this, it's not only the two of them, we discuss the selection of the team as a coaching staff, and once again, those two coaches, they respect everyone in our system. And but at the end of the day, we'll leave it to them and the selectors to make a final decision. But once again, it's all of us as coaching staff to make sure that we've got an input in the team selection.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stig. We move on. And our next question goes then to, one second. Hanyiso, good afternoon. Hanyiso, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, I had it on mute. Is it a good time to ask these questions, or can I wait till the end?
To the end, please.
It's fine. I'll wait till the end. It's fine.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So, okay, we move then on to Kobus Klaassen.
Good afternoon, all. I have a question for Mzwandile. It's well documented that the Boks did a lot of work and analysis on the referees prior to the World Cup in 2019. Just looking at tomorrow night's referee, it's a bit of an unknown factor. And are you confident that the players will be able to adapt to his European approach, if I can call it that?
Yeah, we had a good chat with the ref. Talking about the coaching staff now, we had a good chat with the ref, and I think Adam really was honest about what is expected from our players tomorrow. And when it comes to us, what we've done before the World Cup, I don't think it's always going to be the way how we're going to do things when it comes to the player and the ref relationship. But at the end of the day, there's only one CEO on the field, which is the referee. So we are trying to prepare our players as best as possible to make sure that they just focus on the game. If there's anything in the game where there's a misunderstanding between the ref and the players, I think that's why we've got a captain. Sia will be the person who's going to communicate with the ref. But I think the main focus for us as a team is to make sure that we just play well and make sure that we implement all the stuff that we've been trying to work on the training fields. And the funny thing between me and the ref, I used to play against him back in my days a lot. He used to play for Scotland. So we had a good chat yesterday. We had a good laugh. But once again, we'll always respect him as a CEO in the game.
Thank you, Stig. Before we move on to our next question, if I can ask Mick and Owen, anyone else that have posted their question already, if your hand is up from your previous question, if you can just lower down so that I can then see who the people that actually wants to ask a question and have not had a chance yet. So we go over to Will Keller. Good afternoon, Will.
Hi, Will Keller here from the Mail in the UK. How are you?
Good. How are you?
How are you, Will?
Very good. Can I ask one to Sia, please? How aware are you guys of the sort of COVID situation and restrictions outside of your bubble? And how much of a boost do you think it will be to the nation who is struggling a little bit to see you guys play for the first time in a long time on Friday night?
Yeah, so for us as players, obviously the coaches and management and our medical team they keep informing us in everything that's happening around. But you know, we've been staying in, man. We've been working as hard as we can on the field, and then staying in the hotel, basically, you know, and having walks here because we just want to make sure that we want to be safe. We want to have the opportunity to play. So we've been as safe as we can to make sure that we can play, but you know, and we know that I don't really know the numbers are climbing outside, but it's getting better in different areas, part of the country. So we're doing our bit as a team to make sure that we're safe, and yeah, and it will help. I think it will help a lot of people just to see something, you know, with everything that's been happening. You know, when we play on weekends, it normally, you know, it brings a good vibe, a good environment around the country, and hopefully that will also add to that. You know, it's not going to help a lot. There's been a lot of people struggling, but hopefully we can put smiles on people's faces. You know, they can look forward to seeing us on the weekend because we're very excited to get on the field.
As a follow-up to the British and Irish Lions are playing the Johannesburg Lions before your game. You won't be able to watch it, but have you sent any messages to those guys about playing British and Irish Lions? How do you think about that game?
No. Honestly, I mean, we haven't played in 15 months. My whole focus is making sure that we're ready and prepared for this coming game. But obviously, we'll do our research after these two Georgia tests and watch the games afterwards in our highlights. But for us, we just want to make sure that our main focus is on us, that our systems and our game plan, and you know, and we're giving it obviously our best on the field, and we leave everything out there against Georgia because every time we put on the jersey, it's a special opportunity and special time for us. And every position we play against, we give them everything we can. As you saw in the World Cup, we prepared for everyone, just like everybody, just like any other team.
Let me help Sia with the numbers. Tomorrow it will be exactly 18 months since we last played, not 15.
The Grizzlies.
I know you didn't do maths at school. Thank you very much, sir.
It's lit.
Thank you, Will, and thank you, Sia and Stoker. Right, we move on. And Subusisha, good afternoon. Who's your question?
Hi, good afternoon. Got a question for Stick and Sia. Stick, what new things or what innovation can we expect from the box, considering that, you know, we live in a time where everything is dissected analytically? There was a documentary out on the Springboks. The playbook is out there. How then do the Springboks take their game forward? And Sia, on a previous question, I would like you to elaborate, please, is the Springboks playing at this tough time in South Africa? Can you lift the mood in the country, and can you do what you did by winning the World Cup, considering that this could mean a lot to people in all sorts of spheres in life?
Yeah, so I think regarding your question, there are certain things that we can't change. You know, we're still playing between the four lines, and we have to select 15 players, which is the same as the past. We've got 8 players on the bench, so there are certain things that we can't change, you know. But once again, when it comes to our plan, how we want to take the game forward, without giving much, you know, there are certain things that as South Africans we can't neglect. Do you understand? When it comes to the physical side of the game, it's part of our DNA. You know how South African teams, if you go back in the history, you go back to 1995, how we've won the World Cup, you go back to 2007. We normally have big physical forwards and guys that can really dominate over collision, you know. So that is one of our strengths, and I don't think we're going to drift away from it. And an honest truth on that, we are going to be challenged tomorrow because we know Georgians, they take a lot of pride when it comes to the physical side of the game. They've got very solid set pieces. And also when it comes to them being motivated to play against the Springboks, we know they're going to come hard against us. And so we're not going to really change that much. But once again, we always try to empower the players to express themselves. You know, if you look at the youngsters that we've selected for this team, the new debutants, which is Roscoe, we know he's a player of X Factor. So you can't really tell Roscoe not to step when he's got a ball in hand. Same goes with Fasi, you know. We as a coaches, we just made sure that, you know what, we prepare them as best as possible, but at the end of the day, they must still bring their circus act in the game, you know. So it's going to be a tough game for us. I know the Georgians, they're going to physically challenge us. But once again, we're just looking forward to the opportunity to be able to play again as a Springbok team, you know. And once again, we're all talking about the sad times with everything that we're going through now with the pandemic. We actually just want to bring some smiles on the people's face, you know, and we always talk about hope, you know. So as a Springbok, once again, it's not only things when they're going well that we want to be recognized as a Springboks. Even through tough times, we want to be a good example. Because, for example, with our players, they have sacrificed a lot, you know, to be where they are now currently. They don't spend time with their kids. They don't spend time with their wives and families. So it shows that there's a lot of sacrifice behind everything that we're doing. And we just want to say to the people of the country that we must just be positive about, you know, going forward, you know, and make sure that we comply with everything, the restrictions of the COVID, of the pandemic, you know. And at the end of the day, we all know that this is going to go through, we'll go through this, but we just need to be strong as South Africans.
Thank you, Coach Dick. And our next question goes to Fatima Sain.
Sorry, Ray, you didn't give me a chance to reply to my question.
Apologies for that. Thank you.
Right, don't fight, Smooth. Don't fight, Smooth.
Yeah, so for us, you know, as a team, you know, this is what we love doing, and we give it everything each and every single day, and it's a huge privilege for us because we're doing what we love, and we do it as hard as we can, and for as long as we can, because, you know, and what we do sometimes makes people smile. Sometimes it gives people hope, you know, from some of us with our own stories. We all have different stories in the team, and some people relate to those stories, and it gives them hope. And we can only hope that it will put a smile in people's faces, because people are going through a really difficult time all around our country. We've seen in the past couple of days, business shutting down and everything, you know. Maybe the game won't make them happy, you know, but we're hoping that one or two people, you know, it can lift them, you know, because we don't only play for ourselves, it's for the Springbok, but we play for our families and the rest of the country and people that support us. So hopefully this does bring a smile to someone's face, and we do perform to the best of our abilities, and we give everything out there, because we are still privileged and fortunate enough to do what we love. This coming weekend. So we can only hope, and we'll give it our best shot.
Thank you, Sia. And Fatima, it's your chance.
Thanks, Ray, and hi, Sia. Firstly, congratulations on your captaincy, and just looking back at 2019 also and winning the World Cup, it's an incredible achievement. And there are obviously a few new players. My question for you, a few new players and familiar faces in the selection. So each player brings their own flair and contribution to the teams in terms of the individualistic skill sets. So going into the test match, I just basically want to know, what is your expectation, I think, of yourself and of the team?
Thank you so much for everything that you said at the beginning. My expectation is to make sure that I do my part. I know our whole theme is let the main thing stay the main thing, but also know your job and do your job. To do my part within the team environment, to give my best, and I know that will allow us to be able to do what we were picked for, your circus act, the thing that you're good at. If it's running and handing off someone, for Pelele Fasi, getting the ball in his head and using his footwork, and for Roscoe, that's what he's known for, and obviously for Jasper as well, to express himself, get the ball in his hand, hopefully run over people. So our whole thing is to make sure that we do what the team needs us to do to get to positions where we can play the rugby that we know, where a guy can show why he was actually picked in the team. But nothing beats the work, that the unseen work, the warrior work, doing the things that people don't want to see, because that allows you, or allows your teammate, if it's not you, to be able to do what you love. If you're cleaning a ruck where nobody saw, I think Coach Stick showed us about Alges Neyman when Mampimpi scored his try. He worked back and three guys were tanking him, trying to get him off the ball, and he stopped that. That it gave the opportunity on the blind side for him, so that Lukhanyo didn't have to clean that ruck. Mampimpi and Lukhanyo were flew on the white channel, they went to put us right. So those are the kind of things that sometimes you don't get seen, you don't get to do that handoff, but those cleans and making sure you're doing the stuff that nobody sees, but the coaches see that, your teammates see that. That is the special stuff for us. But hopefully also the guys that are getting their first game, they get the confidence to be able to do what they're known for.
Thank you, Sia. And we are mindful of the fact that we missed a couple of minutes at the beginning. So I'm adding that and adding a couple more questions before we wrap up this afternoon's Captain's Press Conference. And the following question will be asked by Percival Young. Good afternoon, Percy.
Ek sê vir jou baie dankie, Ryan. Ransford, I just want to say thank you so much for the visuals. It's really helpful for us as non-broadcasters. So I'm really thankful, sir. Good afternoon, Coach Stick. I'm Sia Kolisi. Sia, can I just ask you, a couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege of chatting to you. You mentioned the fact that it's a great privilege just donning that green and gold. Just remind me again, is it a privilege for you, sir, still to be part of a national setup? And what does it mean, your opinion, what does it mean for these 3 newcomers in the squad? What has the chat's been this past week, this?
Well, I think I told you when we spoke, once you've tasted it, you don't want it to stop. And I think, like, I can speak for other players as well. That's all. You play for your union as hard as you can because you know what your main goal is. You want to be able to get in the green and gold. And I can't explain that feeling to someone that hasn't been part of this system, that hasn't been part of this team, because the level is just, you know, you get tested all the time and you think you're at your best, and then they come and test you even more with the conditioning and everything. And the way you think, you know, you have to sit, you have to prepare, you got to sit in front of the computer and watch other things. You see things that you don't normally see in your club. And you also, your competition, you play against the best in South Africa, and then you go compete against the best of another team. Those nerves, you know, that all those kind of things, that's why I do what I do. That's why I love what I do. That's why I love being around you. And you can't switch off, you know, and you can't get a big head, because my mate next to me will let me know straight away, you're getting a big head now, all this stuff, cut it out, you know, or you're just going to be left behind. So there's so many things, so many amazing things that you get around, and so many challenges that you have, so many things, and you learn a lot about yourself too, you know, you learn a lot about yourself, and I love that. And the guys like Apelele and Roscoe, you know, and Jasper, they're getting to experience that week as well, the intensity of training, and how that it's not good enough to just catch or go and tackle someone. You must get in the air, get in the contact, and come back. And the work rate, where you think, yeah, at the union, this is what you need, yeah, it doubles up like that. And how we came back from playing for our unions. We've been training in Bloemfontein for the past 2 weeks. I feel it was challenging. Bloem was challenging. It was really challenging. And first to come to me is like, now I know what you were talking about. You know, when we're at our union, we were talking about the Springbok training. So I love it that a guy works hard and he comes here and he tastes that. And now when you go, and it's actually good for our unions too, when we go back and we say, listen, this is the standard that we expect it to be. And you try and get everybody else to be up there.
Tell Percy, you still get wondervlees. Is it wondervlees?
Yeah. You don't
Chicken meat.
Thank you. Use crabs, not chicken meat.
Thanks, Sia. Okay, so we have 2 more questions in English, and then we'll finish off with Ganyiso. So the next question, Simon Rickert. Good afternoon, Simon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for this opportunity. Six, first, this one for you. You've obviously watched the British and Irish Lions play the Japanese. What have you seen that makes you excited, and what have you seen that makes you cumbersome and worried? And secondly, this other question for Sia. Gareth Thomas, already in the general press, says because of the, amongst others, empty stadiums, it's going to be a whitewash of 3-0 against the Springboks. Like to have your comments on those, gentlemen. Thank you.
Yeah, from my side, and with what we've seen from the British and Irish Lions against the Japanese, you know, is exactly what we expected. We know when it comes to the Northern Hemisphere teams, their DNA. When it comes to physical side of the game, they're very, very physical. They've got good players and a couple of X-factor players around their system. And there's one thing about them currently. If you look at their outside backs, geez, they've got special players out there who are very quick. The youngster, Riz Zamit, and you've got Adams, you've got Watson, and Williams. All those guys, those are players with an X factor. And I've also seen the team they've selected to play against the Lions here in Joburg, where you've got an experienced player like Og, who's very, very good as a leader also. So they were very, very good. Something that sometimes we forget. Also, the last time the British and Irish Lions played as a team, it was in 2017. So for them to be able to start like they did against Japanese, it shows that they're in the right direction. They were very good. They were very physical. And the opportunities that they got in the game, they've managed to capitalize from them. And it was actually a good game of rugby because the Japanese also really, really challenged them. So we also expect the same thing. They're going to be physical. They're going to be up for the challenge when it comes to playing the Springboks in South Africa. But once again, that is for me, I've played against them in one of the midweek games in 2009, and I will never forget that moment, playing against the likes of Ogara, Ugo Monye, those guys. Those are big names, and you are going to be challenged every second of the game. I remember the funny story about me when I came on against them. I think it was the 53rd minute in the game, and I was excited to get involved in the game. I was a blindside wing. A stupid Mzwandile stick, just wanted to get into the game. I went to defend at fly-off, and a smart guy like Ogara at that time, he managed to put a kick over my head because I was not in my position to defend a blindside wing. So once again, it shows the quality of the players that you're going to play against. Any weakness you show, they will be able to capitalize from it. So we're going to have to be at our best for us to win the series. But once again, I'll let Sia to answer the 3-0, the whitewash question. So I'll hand it over to Sia.
No, I have no comment to that. That's his opinion.
Thank you, Sia. Thank you, Stocker. And our final question in English then goes to Phyllis Sunday. Good afternoon, Philly.
Sure, Ryan. Good afternoon. Plastiku Krend. I was actually going to ask you about that 2009 Southern Spears game against the British and Irish Lions. And I was actually watching that.
Southern Kings.
It's the Southern Spears then, before.
No, it was 207 Spears. 209, it was Southern Kings on the rise.
Oh, okay.
Please.
I was going to ask, you mentioned the fact that you were so excited and so keen to get involved, that you were actually out of position. There's going to be a lot of chances for some of the provincial players to play against the British and Irish Lions, and I guess I think you've been asked this quite a lot of times. What does it mean to play a British and Irish Lions series? But as a player, from a player's perspective, to get onto that field and to put on whatever Union jersey you put on or a Springbok jersey, it must be a little bit more tangible now that the British and Irish Lions are in the country, and everything is seemingly gonna go ahead as planned. Excitement, what is it? What level of excitement is there in the camp? And for Sia, the Georgians are obviously very known for their strong scrummaging performances. If you go back in history to some of their front rowers, they've been really strong in that area. What does it mean for a guy like Ox to be involved, particularly in a fixture where he's going to be sort of under the microscope for however long he gets to play for this first test match?
Well, from my side, once again, if you look at the nature of the series, you only play them once in 12 years. So if Sia doesn't get an opportunity to play against the British and Irish Lions this year,
sure, it'll be 42.
So what are the chances for Sia to play against them at the age of 42? So that shows the honor, and the privilege of getting to play against them. That is one. That's why it is massive, And we know that, winning the World Cup was very special for us. And with everything that we've been through now, for the past 18 months, we have been played as Springboks. So I think for us as a Springbok family, it's about time where we start from scratch now, and start to build new memories, for these players. So, and what I've picked up in our camp, these players, they're really, really excited with this challenge, and a lot of them, they do understand that, if they don't make use of this opportunity, and create something special for them, some of them, they might not get this opportunity again. Probably if you look at our squad now, a guy that will probably have a chance to play them again will probably be Apelele Fasi. Roscoe is not a youngster anymore. So it will probably be Apelele Fasi if he looks after himself, with his career, But once again, playing against the British and Irish Lions is a massive, massive challenge, because you're talking about the top best 4 players in each position from the Northern Hemisphere. So we are going to be challenged. And once again, that's what we live for, That's what we live for. That's why it's called a test match. You're going to be challenged in every part of the game. So that's why the stupid Mzwandile stick back then, who thought we just wanted to get into the game and make it his own individual, performance. You can't afford to do that against the British and Irish Lions. They will expose you. So for us as a team, like Sia mentioned earlier on, we're going to have to make sure that we pitch up as a team and make sure that we play well as a team. So we are looking forward. It's going to be a tough one, but we don't want to look too far ahead of ourselves for now. Our main focus, we have to respect Georgians. They are tough, Otherwise, if we don't pitch up tomorrow, we know exactly what's going to come on our way. We will be punished. And those guys, physically, they will hurt us if we don't pitch up tomorrow.
I'm very excited for Ox, and the whole pack. We all keen, It feels like it's the first game for all of us, and it is in such a long time. So, we all know what Ox can do, and I think it's a great opportunity for him to do it in this level. And it's actually a perfect game, because that is where I think our coach, where you pick your team, you look at a prop that can scrum, and now he's getting his opportunity now, and it's a perfect time, and he's got all of us behind him. We believe in an 8-man scrum. It's not only the front row that's going to about the scrum, and he's got Bongi next to him, who's very experienced in the group, and Trevor. So I'm looking forward for this battle, and I have no doubt that he's ready for it.
Thank you, Sia and Stocker. That then our English part of the press conference, and then now we go over to Hanyiso, who will ask a question to you each in Xhosa.
Ndiyanibona. Grootman isafuna igama lami. Grootman umbhoxo ndiyathemba nonke niyaphila man. Plastic mandiqale ngawe man ne. Khakho nje sifake ezinyaweni zakho. Andithi ngesixhosa siqhela ukuthi kuba siye sifika kule ndawo sibhalele kuyo ngoku. Andithi uqalela ngomso ngulo mdlalelo weGeorgia kube khona ezinye imidlalo elandelayo. Nje khasifake ezinyaweni zakho nje bakhe kusicacisele kuba bekunjani ba okonomani nizilungiselela lamasuku ayafika ngoku lana umbhoxo uqala ngomso nokujonga phambili. Msiyana man ndize apha kuwe man. Lininzi manje utshintsho elenzekileyo ebomini bakho nasembhoxweni, utshintshe namaphondo soseThekwini ngokumkile eKapa. Abantu abaninzi bathi awudlalanga ngehlobo ozibonakalisa ba mhlawumbi ungale nto ufamba uyayiqala emidlalo. Nje lakho kusifaka ezinyaweni zakho kuba le journey especially nje ba uphume eKapa waya eThekwini wanyusa izinga lomdlalo sekufika ungomso ukuthi bekunjani for wena?
Yeah, Khanyiso, at least knocking out Zamas Konkul Kakul Ngubusa 9. So I think I'll be short regarding that. Khanyiso Tata, yeah, command, yeah, it challenges the Sikuzo, with the pandemic. No one knew what was the pandemic. I didn't know what was pandemic. I didn't know what was COVID. I didn't know what was quarantining, those terms, So for a lot of us, those terms, it was new when it came, But once again, even if I go back to last year at the beginning of the year, we as a coaching staff had prepared for all the tournaments that we were supposed to play. So from January, besilungiselela for zonke za tournaments befuneka bekusuppose ba sidlalile. Kumsebenzi wethu lo as a coaches, we made sure that go through everything that we need to prepare for the lamidlalo sasidlala. And it was funny. It was probably sasizova nge-results basizodlala probably a week before eza tournament kwakufuneka siqalile yabo. So umsebenzi wethu siwusebenzile kakhulu thina sizi-analyze le team, even i-All Blacks, i-Australia, Argentina for the championship, ne-Georgia ne-Scotland last year. Sasiwenzile umsebenzi wethu, you know, knowing that if bangaba siyanikwa i-opportunity, you know, bakuthiwa masihambe sodlala, sasizabe si-ready thina as a coaching staff, you know. So once again, ekuba sifumane ithuba ngoku sikwazi udlala, kuthiwa yimincili ne? Excitement.
See, excitement.
Hayi mansiya. So yeah, imincili lekanyiso.
Imincili.
Sinemincili yabona ke le ntwana ze-grey. Sinemincili tata masiyavuka kakhulu uba sizokwazi ufumana eli thuba yabo. Njengoba besisitshilo earlier on by is that we understand yonke ubunzima sisuka kubo yabona, and siyayazi kubuhlungu abantu baluza imisebenzi yabo because of what we are going through le pandemic, but thina sileqala le-Springboks, you know, sifuna nje ukubusa laa nto elathembe ebantwini sithi uba kuzawulunga yabona. Ikhona laa simo siye singeza ukuthiwa uba is it the light at the end of the tunnel?
There's a light.
There's a light, yeah. So sifuna ukuthi wena khanyisa uba abantu mabebe strong. We understand what we're going through, but as South Africans must be strong tata yabo, sikwazi usebenzisana sincedane abakwazi ukunceda abanye abantu, and thina njenge-Springboks tomorrow elithuba salifumana sawuthi make sure uba siyalisebenzisa sikwenzele ntoni, sivuyise abantu aba-proud of being the South Africans. So enkosi kakhulu tata ngombuzo wakho, but once again we are excited ubuyele ebaleni Nkosi.
Yeah, Grootman, so Anzubam Demna, yeah, Grootman, I think, you know, since 2013 and every womunyaka nje ndikhazi into eyi-1 wonke umuntu ukhawunta abaninzi bane-questions uba good enough, uyadeserve uba phaa. So asindwe nje kumlondo, and into ebalulekileyo kum kujonga uthetha nee-coaches xa sike-alignment curve udlala umdlalo wam, and ndiyazazi bengadlali kahle, that's why nditshintshe amaphondo nohambe ndodlala eDurban because bendifuna ufocus ufumane i-fitness yam, and ndifumane ixesha lam ithuba lam lodlala phaa kwi-Sharks, igame wam iya-improve and sisendelwe feedback zii-coaches, i-defense yam bi-good, i-breakdown yam bi-good. Bendingafumani mathuba amaninzi ofumana ibhola esandleni, but xa ndiyifumene ndisebenzisile. So even nanzamamela ingxolo ezingaphandle, abantu abangaphandle, into abalulekileyo kum zii-teammates zam ngoo-coaches zam ngabo bapika iteam enye nenye andiyijonganga, but okwangoku ndijonge phambili, ndidlala eGeorgia ngomso, ifocus yam yonke phaa enye nenye andingeni kuyo Grootman.
Uyabulela umfene Grootman.
Uyabulela. Thanks Kanyisi. Thank you Buti.
Thank you very much. That then, ladies and gentlemen, conclude our press conference for this afternoon. Thank you for your patience. Apologies for the glitches at the beginning, but
sorry.